Greetings and salutations. Okay, this time we're covering The Incredible Hulk, the 2008 film based on the Marvel Comics, The Hulk. If you are aware of the slightest of who the Hulk is, you generally know the basis of it. Bruce Banner, exposed to gamma radiation for one reason or another, suffers radiation poisoning of the gamma kind, and every time he loses his temper or generally gets excited, as denoted in this film, he loses his control, transforms, bulking out into the Incredible Hulk. This is the second live-action film of the big-budget variety, aside from those from years past that aren't looking so good in these days. The film was directed by Louis Leterrier. It stars Edward Norton as Dr. Bruce Banner. Thunderbolt, General Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross is played by William Hurt. Betty Ross is played by Liv Tyler. Yeah, I'm not so convinced by her role, but then again, she has that certain way of speaking that just seems certain for certain roles, but not for... just doesn't seem right this time. And of course, Betty Ross being the go-between character between General Ross and Bruce Banner. She is his Banner's love interest. Betty Ross is the General's daughter, and who just generally disapproves because, well, he is an Incredible Hulk. He's dangerous. He needs to be captured. And in this run of it, Bruce Banner becomes the Hulk as he is an unwitting pawn in establishing a military scheme to reinvent the super soldier program that created Captain America. But instead, what we get is the Hulk. And in comparison to the rest of the Avenger precursor films, this one feels a hell of a lot darker. The film begins with a bit of a montage, a homage to the TV series, where Dr. Bruce Banner became Dr. David Banner. This film takes place over the greatest amount of time for the one of the pre-Avenger films I've seen, as time and again is denoted days since the last incident. And we opening up in actually I don't know where it begins. But it's noted that it's been several years since there's been a Hulk sighting. And Dr. Banner is laying low, he's dealing with how to best control his anger, how to best control keeping the Hulk under wraps. He is online as Mr. Green, using an encrypted connection to a guy who goes by the handle of Mr. Blue, in the bids of hoping to find a cure to his gamma radiation, which causes him to become the Hulk. And always going into there's an accident where he's working out unofficially at a factory that's bottling this power doing this soda, whatever it is, where part of it, his blood is introduced in one of the bottles. And Thunderbolt Ross becomes aware of Banner's location because of this little accident. Might I add, the victim of the gamma radiation poisoning that came from drinking this contaminated bottle was yet again the Marvel's favourite cameo, Stan Lee. Doesn't matter if the Marvel film's old or new, he's there. And so the hunt is on. They head off, Thunderbolt Ross and his crew head off, and he brings in a expert, a soldier by the name of Emil Bosky. I think that's how I pronounce it. I'm looking at the wiki, and as I said before, this is I feel it's the darkest. I've only seen most of them. I have not watched Captain America. I don't want to watch Captain America. I just, from what I've seen of it, what I've heard of it, it doesn't sound interesting. But generally, Captain America generally doesn't feel that much of an interesting character anyway. As covered before, this is Banner trying to find a cure. And he's desperate. Desperate to the point he actually sends his blood off to Mr. Blue in the hopes of finding a way to cure himself. And that's only left as a last resort. Resort after the previous bid with this flower, where he uses a full dosage of a drug he concocts, it doesn't work. It works, well, not for particularly long. It lasts a few seconds. We see his green blood cells turning blue, turning red, and then it changes back very quickly. And this is where things get bad. Bosky comes in with his crew. He's not been alerted to the fact that Banner is the Hulk. He's been told, sedate him quickly and bring him back. And this is where the first appearance of the Incredible Hulk. Banner is fleeing for his troops, and Bosky is causing havoc throughout the crowded streets trying to get to Banner. Unfortunately, Banner runs into some familiar faces from the workplace, who they're out to cause trouble. Trouble because before, the one he had interfered with beforehand was not letting this lady walk away, ignoring his advances. He takes it rather personally, and so they proceed to beat the crap out of Banner. One of the men gets sedated when Bosky tries to get to Banner, and then we get the Hulk. And he tears up the place. He's throwing people left and right and centre. We get huge metal liquid tanks being thrown around at soldiers, and yeah, it's decent enough with CGI, but that's the problem with CGI. It's never going to look as good as the real thing as special effects. But then we talk about the Hulk. There's no way to really translate what comes from the page onto the screen without CGI, unfortunately. But still, they do a good enough job with it. Even with the transformation scenes later on, they definitely put the effort into it. The Hulk escapes. Bosky returns to Ross, and he's basically going, what the hell's going on? What is that thing? And next time we find Banner, he's going to beat the crap out of him until we find some answers. And Ross tells him that thing is Banner. He details to Bosky about the program that created the Hulk, and thus begins the path where Bosky is put on a bit of a gene program where Ross starts to turn him into a super soldier, and it's working. And this is where the dark side comes in, because Bosky doesn't get enough. The second encounter with the Hulk does not go so well. He has returned to America. He is to get some needed information about what happened during the experiment. He runs into Betty again, and they're reunited. And then Ross moves in on the college campus trying to capture Banner. And Bosky moves in, and he is basically acting as a super soldier, someone who's stronger, faster, who's avoiding the Hulk's attacks, when the Hulk is making a mockery of the soldiers who are trying to take him down with rifles. They're even bringing sonic weapons that seem familiar from the Godzilla films. Instead of just lasers, there's sonic cannons trying to take the Hulk down that way, but that still doesn't work. And in the end, Bosky walks up to the Hulk, goes, "Is that your best shot?" and gets kicked into a tree, left a bloody mess. Later on, it's revealed that practically every bone in his body has been shattered. But because of his treatments, he is back up, he is healed, he is not red raw, he's like nothing happened to him. And his only remark is, he's ready for round 3. This ultimately leads to an encounter with Banner, with Mr. Blue, who possibly finds a method of curing the Hulk, the gamma radiation. But he assures Banner that it may not be a true cure, it may be just a cure for the moment, where in an experiment they actually managed to induce the rays to bring out the Hulk and shut him down, where Betty is helping settle the Hulk down in the process. Hell, it may be a combination of both. Betty's presence calming the Hulk, and the experiment as well. After that bit, the military moves in, having discovered Mr. Blue's identity through sealed network connections and facilities. Bosky makes demands on Mr. Blue to give him what basically created the Hulk. And here is where we get Abomination, or rather a different version of the Abomination from the old cartoons and comics. Instead of being a reptilian, he's all big and bony, and is generally far more unpleasant looking than the Hulk. And he goes on a rampage, And this is at a point where Mr. Blue is actually infected with gamma-radiated blood. And we see him starting to change. So either he's going to turn into the gargoyle, who some may remember from the old 90s series as being the leader's lackey, or he's going to turn into the leader himself. This is never touched on in the film again. Bit of a disappointment that, who knows? Of the Marvel films getting sequels, the Hulk may be one of them, and we may get a continuation of that. And we get the smackdown that's basically been the highlight of the film. The Hulk versus Abomination. And for most of it, Abomination is kicking the Hulk around, destroying the local neighborhood, cars, buildings, nothing's safe. And it ultimately ends with the Hulk having to go all out, where the point he's ready to kill the Abomination. And it's Betty who tells him not to. Is this a wise choice? Some may ask. And sensibly, it probably is no. You got this superpowered monster on the loose, who has proven to be quite emo and dangerous, and you're just gonna let him live? As I said, this is the darkest thing for the theme. The hopelessness that Banner goes through, trying to find a cure. Can't. If the tries fail, the military screws things up. He loses his connection to Mr. Blue because the Bosky's first attack on him. We see the damage the Hulk does. We also see that the Hulk is a creature of instinct, really. Where he's not out to kill anyone unless outright provoked. He's defending himself. He's running. And then there's Bosky. Power hungry, who keeps going for more and more. He gets 2 treatments from Ross before he gets the treatment from Mr. Blue that turns him into the Abomination. And then he goes crazy. Well, on a crazy rampage, he's already crazy before then, because he just wants more and more. At the end of this, we get 2 things. One is Banner has fled to a new location, and we see him in the exercises that are meant to calm the mind, calm the body. They were shown. And then he just looks up. His eyes are the green as if he's going to change into Hulk, and he's smiling. And then the usual zinger that comes out after the ending credits for the other films is the Avengers plug, where Tony Stark goes to Ross and he's basically saying, oh, we're putting together a team. This was before Iron Man 2. And it's been, I had to bring up the part where this doesn't seem quite right, because Tony Stark didn't say, actually he said he didn't want any part of the Avengers program. He didn't want to be part of the super-powered boy band. That just seemed wrong. So, what did I think of the film? A strangely dark superhero tale in the vein of Jekyll and Hyde, where the ultimate villain is Bosky with his power-hungry nature, with Thunderbolt Ross in his pursuit of Banner not seeing anyone else's view on it, and ultimately Bruce Banner's own need to find a cure. Of course, that's what leads him to trouble. By all rights, he should be fleeing away from people to stay away from trouble, but no. Just like in the series, he has to stay close to people, and in this case, there's a reason why, to stay in contact with Mr. Blue, because he had experience with gamma radiation, and with him, he's trying to find a cure. And when Mr. Blue at the college, when they met up, is going about, the implications of this study, of what we can do with it, of saving lives and all that lot. He doesn't get it when Banner's explained to him, it's too dangerous, the Hulk is too dangerous for this research to continue. It must be stopped. So, yes, the wild card of the Avengers source, the Incredible Hulk, the dangerous one. That leads into Iron Man 2, which leads into Thor, that leads into Captain America, which then leads into Avengers Assemble, or whatever you call the Avengers film. A good film for what it is. What I can't I can't really compare it to the others, because it's just that different. It's not your typical superhero story. It's just this guy on the run. It's Jekyll and Hyde. It's darker and, I say, grittier for the right reasons, as opposed to the 90s nonsense. So, yeah, that's me signing out before I ramble on for way too long, which I may already have. Till the next one.